tried to start years ago.
You're on.
Hey, how are you?
For those that don't know, the cameras are on, the lights are off. For a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I still.
I wish my husband would do that. I mean, he could do it all. But it's also in this list.
Well, there you go. Whittle that down. So.
I don't miss that. You know what, I don't know if I can do it, so I don't know if I can handle it.
300 bales, it wasn't too bad.
300?
Schedule open.
Personnel policy.
Yeah,
Okay, we go.
My 16-year-old wasn't happy with it.
Okay, people. It's Monday, August 5th. This is the Board of Selectmen's meeting. Can I start with a roll call from my right?
Steve Smith.
Chester Duraki.
Rick Cuzzi.
Jim Rolston. Jim Pazzi. For the record, we have a quorum. The meeting is being recorded and live streamed. First on the agenda is Rockingham Planning Commission, Tim Roach, Executive Director.
Thank you. Pull the chair? Or
Sure.
All right. All right. Give you the propaganda while I'm up there. Take one, pass them down. Got these on this end. So, is everyone familiar with the RPC, or you've heard of us, more or less? Helpful. I've been there for 2 years as director. I took over for Cliff Sinnott, who was there for close to 30 years before me. So, and I can rattle off the statute and what we're all about by statute, but I'd rather just talk to you about how I see it. And really, I don't look at the RPC as another layer of government. Really, what it is it's the collection of communities that come together as dues-paying members take advantage of the RPC as a resource. You know, and so that way we play that role as a resource. We provide a forum for issues that cross municipal boundaries so that communities can work together and talk to each other. And then when the need arises, we can be a voice collectively to address things in either Concord or DC or whatever we need to do. So, you know, we maintain a highly qualified staff of transportation planners, land use planners, folks with environmental experience, you know, everything from water to wetlands and things like that. So we have quite a bit of experience on the staff. And I kind of tell people that folks that have, you know, we have Mark Fougere here as a planner. I knew Mark from when I worked out in Nashua and that area, but you know, if he's serving the needs at the planning board level, you can think of us as the bench. You know what I mean? He doesn't have it all, and we can sort of step in and help out as needed. Things like geographic information systems, things like that, if you need some additional assistance. You know, transportation is the big area where there's that cross-community collaboration that we need to talk about, working with the DOT, and I know there's been a lot of talk in town about 33 and the congestion, Lonzo, and all that development work. I know you folks are heavily involved in that. Wanted to make you aware, we are looking internally at the office. We have access to congestion data. It's basically collected by Federal Highway Administration. It's either anonymized cell phone data or GPS data. We have it for the last 5 years, so we can show in 5-minute intervals on any given segment of road out there what the congestion is like. So we're looking at that, and my hope is, and I'm just bringing this up to you folks tonight, is my hope is that we can have a broader conversation with, you know, Stratham and Portsmouth and take a look at this corridor and what it needs to be for everybody in the region, and hopefully find some solutions to that. So as you're dealing with that, I want you to just keep us in mind, and we'll try to work with Matt and the rest of the staff in town and make sure that you're aware of what we do. That is all related to our role in transportation as the Metropolitan Planning Organization. That's a federal designation that any urbanized area under the census with more than 50,000 people has to have a Metropolitan Planning Organization. We serve that role, and we're the ones who deal with the state's 10-year transportation plan. So you probably hear a lot about that. It is a giant black box for most people, most boards of selectmen. It's a 2-year cycle that happens on a rotating basis, just continuously, where the DOT wants communities to prioritize their needs. And right now we're in the middle of it. We're going out to GASSET hearings, the Governor's Advisory Council on Intermodal Transportation. Your executive counselor, Councilor Prescott, is going to be hearing from communities about what the needs are in the region. So I always encourage boards of selectmen, if you can get folks out to those hearings, it's worth your time. I think he listens and he has influence over what goes into the plan based on your input. So I'd encourage you to think about doing that. And then there's, the other side of it is land use and, master plans, and we can provide that assistance as well. Like I said, if your planning board or your town is in need of some master planning assistance, or are you under MS4? I can't remember, I should have looked.
The stormwater.
Stormwater, yeah. We can provide assistance related to MS4. We do a lot of the public input facilitation. We have some pretty sophisticated ways to do community surveys and take advantage of that, so it's there for you. I want you to understand, sort of what I can do for you from a financial perspective, because inevitably what happens is like, wait, you guys pay me $4,000 to be a member. What do I get for that? And that's a lot of times is an issue for boards of selectmen. So all that transportation work that I do has to be matched. It's federally funded, but I have to match it with local dollars. So I use about half of the dues from every community to match that work so that I can make sure those transportation planners are there and doing these different analyses. So that leaves us with about $2,000. And if I'm gonna, put a planner on something, a senior planner, $75 an hour with overhead built in, we're not gonna get a full-blown master plan written for a couple $1,000, but we can do those smaller projects and help you out within that window. And we tend to share the dues across the community, so we can help with some things. If there's anything that you need, we can work with Matt to see if we can help you out. And if it doesn't fit within that structure, we can work on an additional contract if you're willing to, go after some additional money to do that. But, the other thing we're trying to do is when I came in, I was trying to find how can I find ways to save municipalities money through shared resources and shared services. The first thing we're doing is an electricity aggregation, where we're bringing together communities, pooling their electric accounts, putting those out to bid, and getting a reduced rate on municipal electricity. You guys are already doing it on your own, which is great, but if I could bring you in when your contract winds down, if I can work the timing so that I can bring 15 communities together, have that bigger load, we can get an even better rate. Even if it's fractions of a penny per kilowatt hour, if we can do that, it's going to save you a little bit more money. Because in the end, if I can save you guys money, it's this value winner for both of us. So that's sort of my 5.5 or 6 minute overview of what we do, what we can provide. And I just want you to think of us as a resource and reach out on all aspects of planning, transportation, and land use.
Do you do anything in the form of researching grants, federal grants?
Absolutely. Yeah, we can look at if there's a need you have through us, we can research the grant. We can even help write it. We do that quite a bit. And we've even managed them for communities after the grant has been awarded. So we can provide that service, and that's something that we can typically do under the due structure. It's not like it costs us that much more money to do it. So.
Anything else?
Good. Good enough.
All right. I appreciate the.
Open up the George Bush Highway off of Pease.
What's that?
Open up the George Bush Highway off of Pease.
Directly under 90, or
Yeah, directly on us. 95.
95, yeah, and
That's gonna be a lot cheaper than doing this.
I hear you, yeah, and I think we have to have a broader conversation about how we're gonna deal with that, and I think we'd be happy to facilitate and work with you folks and bring the other communities in on that discussion if you're willing to have us.
Yeah.
So, all right, thanks, guys.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is parking at Maloney Field.
So I met with Brian Getz and Al Pratt from the city of Portsmouth over at Maloney Field to discuss parking, show them the fencing. The rec committee has moved the fence as was in their budget and anticipated. They did a great job. It was beautiful. Portsmouth still had concerns about the protection of their well buffer with the expansion of parking availability now. They would like to install additional fencing. I indicated to them that the town of Greenland would not be paying for additional fencing, and so they have agreed kindly to pay for additional fencing to establish more of a protected area around the well buffer. And that would be tied into the new rec fencing, and I think it would be pretty seamless, and there would be a gate to allow for pedestrians to cut through. And I've talked to Sharon about that, and I wasn't aware of any concerns you had with the addition, so I just wanted to bring that up to the board and let you know in case the board had any concerns. But certainly we want to do all we can to protect the Greenland well, and I think that will be well served with the additional fencing. So there's no board action needed. This is more an FYI. The rec committee's here as well if you have any questions for them. But the fence looks great, and I think this will satisfy the city of Portsmouth.
Excellent. Matt, what were they doing up there today?
That was the state of New Hampshire.
Oh, that was the state of New
They were working on, I believe what they were working on was the transition from Post Road into that.
Culvert collapse.
Okay.
Oh, this was about the culvert, yeah?
Yeah, that was the state. I noticed that too.
Just last week, I think it was Friday, we had reports of a sinkhole possibly developing out in front of that entrance.
Yeah, they probably want to get it
Turned
done
out to
before
be
they
a culvert.
pave down through, so it doesn't
Thank you.
interrupt the paving.
One question I have for the rec committee is, we are coming in the budget time, and I've posed this a couple times, the board has, about getting a administrator per se to handle the business side of the rec. Where at times seems to be a crunch and
Yep.
people shortfalls are.
Well, we haven't had a meeting this summer. Most of the rec members are away on vacation, and therefore they're just, so we didn't have a meeting in July, and we're not having one this month either. So we'll talk about it in the meeting.
May I suggest you start emailing through the,
I thought that was against the,
you
right
can't,
to
you
know.
can't go directly to them, but you go through Charlotte, she can forward.
Okay.
Because we don't want to get pushed real hard the last quarter to try to get everything done, because then the stuff just doesn't get done.
You can disseminate information, but you can't collectively poll
Exactly.
under the right to know law. So if there's information about budgeting that you'd like to share with committee members, Charlotte could forward that out to the members. But you don't want to start a discussion outside of the purview of a public meeting.
Exactly.
So you don't want to be using reply all or discussions through email, none of that. So it'd have to be as a blind carbon copy where they can't reply to all and start a conversation outside of the meeting. So that's what you want to avoid.
The big thing I don't want to do is I don't want to step on someone's toes if we take something they want to do away from them. You know, we could sit there and say, we can do scheduling, for instance, and someone likes doing that, and I don't want to do that. But if there's something you guys want to get rid of because you haven't got time to do it, that's the jobs we need to know, so we can figure out what we're going to pay this individual.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
that's all I got.
That's it.
Okay, next one is acceptance of donation to the police department National Night Out.
Mercedes-Benz of Portsmouth has generously made a $500 donation to the police department for National Night Out, which is tomorrow, Tuesday, August 6th, from 5 to 8 o'clock here at the Town Hall / Fire Station. And we'll need a motion to accept.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move to accept the donation of $500 from Mercedes-Benz Portsmouth Police Department for National Night Out.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next on the agenda is public comments. Peter, you want something to say, or are you all set? Okay, no public comment. Next on the agenda, approval of minutes of July 22nd, 2019. Anybody see any errors?
I'll move to approve the minutes of Monday, July 22nd, 2019, as written.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed?
I'm going to abstain since I was not here, so I have no vote.
Okay, next is the Coakley update.
No update at this time.
Okay, next will be the Lease Library update.
Okay, Attorney Laughlin has indicated that once there is a report from the Guardian and Needham, that there will be an immediate final hearing. The most recent hearing, my understanding is that the Guardian and Needham did not attend, and that may cause further delays, unfortunately.
And no, we didn't hire him.
Interesting.
And Marcia is here.
Forrest McLaughlin, 47 Nantucket Place. I have nothing further. He was on vacation during the hearing.
Okay, next is personnel policy.
Personnel policy that was adopted at the last meeting indicated that there were some items for further review, so we have outlined those here for you today. And Sarah's here as well, Chief Arant, excuse me, and she had some suggestions as well. So, the notes are in your packet for some of the areas, starting with page 5, the exempt and non-exempt. We got some edits there to make, as noted. Any questions on that? Okay. The next bullet point, I'll just go bullet point. 4.3A, which is on work hours, page 11. There was a question, just in red, you see fire chief added to that list. Okay. And then work hours on page 12.
Just a question on B on that. Fire chief, you added to that also.
On B,
Yeah, 4.3B. That's page 11.
that's addressing exempt employees. Can we, I believe Ralph would want to be in the discussion. Is he?
You're right behind you.
Oh, you are. They're talking about this right here.
He is technically a salary employee.
Or your salary.
Yeah, probably should get the union. You see any reason why not, Karen?
Just, if you read on, it says that you'd be eligible for New Hampshire retirement life, health, and dental insurance.
I do like that.
I mean, I'm all for it.
Changing.
I'm just saying that the wording of the, if you're gonna put that in
You're
there,
gonna change the rest of it.
I would
All right, we
use
won't
the
do
word
that this
paragraph.
time then. That was more, I got more questions than I got answers.
Okay. On page 12, work hours. There's a note here, with the exception of on-duty police and fire officers. Okay. And page, and then you see another section in red there, as allowed for this section below. That's just for
Instead of
grammar.
fire officers, should that be firefighters, but not all officers?
Should be all officers.
Should be
and
fire,
firefighters.
yeah, it should be firefighters, period, I believe.
Firefighters,
Well,
okay.
Yeah,
Not just one.
that's just a technicality,
Firefighters, okay,
because that would include officers.
okay.
As long as it, make sure it's included, it is. You know better than me.
What about EMS people that aren't fire, would that
No,
still?
I'm talking more of a captain or a lieutenant or.
Fire department employees might be better.
I like that.
I like, that's
That would be better.
Fire
Thank you.
department.
Yep.
Employees.
fire or EMS should be put in there also.
Okay, and EMS, comma, fire department. Okay. On page 13, we're striking that all non-exempt employees shall complete, this is in regards to the time cards, because they're exempt, they're not eligible for overtime. So we'd be adding exempt employees must report leaves and absences bi-weekly using the leave form. And so that's how you would capture their leave and time off. Then under 4.3, identification badges. Are there any changes to that? Does anyone have? Okay. So that would be the same in 5.3 on page 15. See some wordsmithing there at the bottom, just above section A. It would now state the Board of Selectmen and the Town Administrator shall be informed of any suspensions within 2 working days of the action taken by the department. Moving on, page 17, there was a question there from the chief regarding if a police officer is scheduled to work 10 hours as their regular scheduled shift, would they then be eligible for that time in straight holiday time? My feeling would be that they would be. We can word it accordingly.
You're also talking about changing it to hours rather than days, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's, actually, we're doing that, and it works very well.
Okay. Just because we have employees in town that work 3 different amounts of hours for a day. We have 8, 10, and 12s. So it doesn't really seem fair for,
Yeah. What about utilizing for, like a holiday, they have to work a floating holiday? That was just a question I had.
well, we don't have that because obviously we're 24/7. So on the holiday, they get paid the overtime right there, but they just get paid a straight 8 hours for their straight holiday pay.
At the backup on 16, on page 16, in section 6, number 6, I guess that question of the police chief should be added to that one too. Selectmen's authority. That's why the fire chief should be added. Police chief say.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's say I saw that.
Chief Cresta, you agree with that one? Yes. Okay.
I actually read this stuff.
Okay, so we'll add fire chief to that on page 16. Chief Lawrence, did you have any way you wanted to clarify that question, wording change, or did you just want an interpretation of that?
Are you talking about
wording on
page 17?
7.2
The holiday time.
Yeah, as long as we
Is
reduce
that-
it to hours, is all that I was trying to get clarification.
I would definitely say, because payroll can actually, is gonna go hours, eventually, I see it.
Yeah.
Eventually, 'cause
So we
it's
can-
easier.
Yeah, well, and it applies, it's very clear
Everybody.
for everybody, right?
So we're going to delete the question, and at this point, you have your answer to that?
We're gonna change the, I think, yeah.
We have to change the
Change
full-time
something, yes.
employee shall receive, instead of their regular compensation for the following holidays, it'd have to be 8 hours of straight pay for the following for each of the following holidays,
Steve,
or something to that effect.
all part-time employees regularly scheduled shall receive 8 hours of straight You wanted to say shall receive 8 hours of straight time for the following holidays?
That's the best way to do it, in my opinion, but if you have different wording that still reduces it to hours, that's fine.
I'm sure this won't be the final thing. We'll find something.
Right.
We can
Yeah,
always,
sure.
we can always
We'll
change
find something.
this. It's a fluid document, so we can review anything that doesn't seem to work as we go forward.
So then as it goes further down in 7.2, it references days several times. So I just changed the day to either hours or time or,
2 hours worked or
Right,
a
right.
combination
We
thereof.
can, if the board approves, we can just go through this after and figure out the conversion
Right.
for the days and hours. I don't think.
Because
we
your
should
leave
do that
hours are
right
gonna
now.
balance, hopefully balance out with whatever you work.
Right.
You know,
Right?
hours as opposed to days is
Okay, is that the board's general consensus, to convert days to hours?
great.
So we'll go through the whole document then and just convert everything to hours.
This is note 7.3, A, leave rule, same thing, it's 2 consecutive weeks, and probably should be hours on that one too.
Can you just transition where we are? Okay.
Very common.
Okay. So change that to hours. And we're getting there. 7.3 on page 18. There was a question. Again, that was just due to the conversions, and we'll figure the numbers out when we convert to days from days to hours. So there's a question on that conversion, so we will change those to hours.
Yeah, all the way down.
Yeah, we're gonna go right, we'll go right through the whole document and do the conversions as needed. All right. So that would take care of all of page 18, I believe, right? Chief?
Yep.
Okay.
And 19 as
19,
well.
change the
19, yeah. The next note I had was on page 21. We just highlighted regular scheduled part-time employees. Receiving longevity compensation. And their calculations there. Any changes there?
I don't think so.
Okay, good. Then we had the addition on page 25 of the video surveillance policy. Page 25. This is Chief Preston and Chief Laurent worked on this section here for us. I think it's well written and establishes clear guidelines for the use of the surveillance video. Agreed.
Question on the surveillance system. Eventually, I would like to be able to, have terminals that people would actually just be looking at. Should, on page 27, number 1, should that be just surveillance system recordings, access to those? Is that usually?
On C1,
27, number 1, yeah?
must be authorized by a minimum of 3 members. Is that the one
Access
you're
to
talking about?
surveillance, the recordings actually is what you want, correct?
Yes.
I don't know if it has to be there or not, but I would have a problem with the town clerk and people working in the
Yep.
building, including you guys.
Yep.
To see who's entering the building, who's not,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth.
Yep.
Currently,
They're a little different.
Currently, the system is housed in the fire department, and it is accessible on one of their monitors. They have all the different screens showing the different angles of the
Well, it won't be.
cameras. I'm not sure if that's just for,
I don't think we have a code to that, do we, at this point?
I don't believe
I don't
it's
think
used.
so.
We don't have a code to that yet?
There's,
To get into that?
you're able to watch it live, but you aren't able to access the
Exactly.
archive. So the fire department, as it is now, for safety reasons, can see the perimeter of the building and in here, but they can't go and access the archived information.
Well, that'd be something I think would require a little bit of work with permission and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
watching present day, the
Live.
people here should be watching live, they look out, see someone's walking into the parking lot, and they don't wanna really get in a confrontation with them. They
Right. Oh, absolutely.
exit stage right.
So I don't have a concern with that, I just wanted the board to know that currently they are able to watch live, wherever there's a camera, on a screen that shows all the smaller screenshots of what's happening now. But they can't, because it's password protected, go in and research the archive.
Which I think that, as it expands, or if different things are added or whatever, then anything can change. But yeah, it's just an idea of getting started.
Are you able to access the live feeds as well from the police?
I don't believe so, not without a password. I haven't asked Doug that specifically.
Okay. Because I know you have access to the school cameras for safety reasons, and I don't know if that would be something beneficial for you to have access to.
I got
the live
shots.
It could be on another one of the monitors in that control room. Look at. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll talk to Doug and Nelson about that. We're still in the middle of the transition, just because he's still injured, so.
Chief Presser, do you have any other changes that you wanted to see, or that we haven't brought up for discussion, or Chief Brown? Okay, well, that completes what I had for discussion.
Okay, can I have a motion to adopt the personal policy revisions?
I'll make a motion, we adopt the personnel policy with revisions.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Anybody got any other old business?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Bond reduction, CD Webb.
Okay, we have a bond reduction request from those associates. They've requested this for CV Way development. And the request has been reviewed by Altus Engineering, and they're recommending a bond reduction to no less than $44,326. And that's accompanied by a letter from Altus.
I was a little confused with the letter. It looks to me like they also have an additional $4,000.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused.
I'm unclear on that as well, yeah. So do
If
they,
you're not clear, you could reduce it by 48,000 if you want to add the 4,000. Make the reduction to no less than 48,326, which would conservatively put you at, to 44,326, and that 4,000 earmarked above.
I personally don't have a problem with that. I'm a little confused with the letter.
Yep. No, I'm glad you caught that.
I read it 3 times, I still couldn't figure it out.
It's not clear whether
It doesn't make sense.
So if you don't know, the conservative approach would be to just go 48,326. So you.
Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the requested bond reduction for CV Wade of $48,326 as recommended by Altus Engineering.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Halloween Day.
You may have heard in the national news that there's been petitions circulating to change the trick-or-treat date to the last Saturday in October, which this year would put you on the 26th. And Chief Lorenz will be here to, is she still there? But the request has been made whether, to change that date to the last Saturday in October. And there's no football games that I can aware of on that date. Some people don't like being interrupted during Patriot games. It is a fact.
That has been controversial. Interruptions on Patriots games.
But I'm sure they'll be playing on a Wednesday. Is that what you're saying, Matt?
It won't be on a Saturday. They might.
They won't be.
Do I have a motion?
And then we just need a So part of your motion would be,
She just went out with Ralph out that way, so. They
why don't I
went
just grab her?
Yeah. Wanna know what she wants for time on this?
5 to 7 is usually.
Yeah,
I like the tradition.
Yeah, I mean, just because some group is
Petitioning.
petitioning.
No, they had 100,000 signatures, I mean.
Oh, yeah, we gotta.
Is it in this area?
Population.
all right, it's no big deal.
Trick or treat, I'm sorry, I forgot, it's the biggest, most important decision every year that's made because parents get very upset.
Yeah.
Either way, no matter what you do.
Right.
So I don't, usually I set it for the 30th if there's not a Patriots game, a Portsmouth High School game, and nobody gone from the school on like an overnight trip. So that is all clear this year for the 30th, which is a Wednesday.
Yes.
But also, you know, Matt pointed out that people across the country are talking about doing it on Saturdays, which is the 26th, I believe. And I checked all those things for the 26th, and we're clear on that as well. So whichever one you feel would be the best for the town is fine by me.
Personally, I would say have it on the 30th, which is a traditional date, since there's no problem. We'll worry about it next year if it presents a problem.
spoken like a true politician.
But listen, you joke and laugh, but people get very, very upset about it.
Angry.
Yes, angry. So it's, you know, we've always stayed away from the 31st, really historically, because there's older kids out that night and, you know, mischief and things like that. So we've always gone for the night before. We used to always be the same as Portsmouth and Newington, where it was always the 30th, but sometimes they'll change theirs now. So it's really, I really think that we'd be fine either way.
What do you guys want to do?
I move to approve Greenland's trick or treat date as October 30th.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good. The dentist will be proud of you all.
We will put the times in
We
there.
didn't put the times in.
Official time?
The times have historically been 5:30 to 7:30. You can go a little bit earlier or later if you want, but the sun goes.
if you go earlier.
The sun goes down pretty early, obviously.
Yeah, I might want to get out early.
5:30.
I like candy.
Put that as part of your motion, Jim. 5:30.
Part of the second, 5:30 to 7?
Yeah,
Yes.
that sounds good.
That is great.
All right, good.
About a minute later.
Okay. Turn on your porch lights if you want trick or treaters.
I haven't had anybody in the last 3 years. So
Oh.
I meant to eat all those buy the big candy bars. Put that
Put that on a minute, and you might get a lot more.
And we can all go to Ralph's.
Sitting there now.
Okay, let's move on to the veterans credit.
Wow.
Okay. We have recommendations here for some veteran credits. I now need a motion on each. The requirements have been met.
I move to approve the disabled veterans tax credit of $3,000 for the resident at 368 Breakfast Hill Road, effective in 2019 for this year.
In 2019.
And I guess we'll go back.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and then we've got the, can I combine those into one motion?
Sure.
I move to approve the all veterans tax credit of $600 for the residents at 50 Magnolia Lane and 39 Veneta Drive, effective April 2020.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Flying right along. Other new business.
Well, I got something to say.
Good.
If everybody goes by Hillside Cemetery, you'll notice we put a nice sign up there. Been sitting in the town office, I don't know how long, but Historical Society donated it to the town. It took us roughly an hour to put it in the ground and screw it on the back. It was all, had everything all pre-drilled and didn't take us long at all. It looks pretty good up there too. And everybody should go up and take a peek at it. A lot of history there. I read it. That's all I get to say on that, but
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
hey, you're welcome. And I did have a little help from the chair.
I said, keep going, keep going.
Keep going, keep going.
I've got something I've noticed this weekend too. A lot of our Eagle Scout projects that have been basically donated to town have been kind of left in disrepair or disappearing. The good news is I talked to the Historical Society about the sign up, the gazebo seems to be fading. They're gonna look into that and take care of it for us hopefully. But there's one at the Eagle Scout project at Maloney Field that is nothing more than a pile of weeds right now. The project that was out front here, the sign, I have no idea where that's at. It's supposed to have been sent out and repaired, and that was 3 years ago. That's it for me. Anybody else got anything?
Under other business,
Yeah.
there will be a PDA meeting, I wanted to let the board know, August 15th at 8 o'clock, 55 International Drive. I think it'd be great if we can get some attendance from Greenland, even though we don't have the official seat yet, we will be getting a seat, so it would be a great idea, I think. And, sure, Representative Malloy would support the town starting to get involved prior to that seat being made available to Greenland. So that's on August 15th. I also wanted to mention that we have quotes here for, this is for the repair of the building at Caswell Field. This money was encumbered from last year in the tune of $8,010 for the work. The town had approved that money. However, the individual who was going to do the work no longer is interested in doing the work or available to do the work. So we have another quote that I was able to obtain that is less than the originally encumbered amount. And I would recommend approval of that so we can get that building repaired out at Caswell.
It's almost a $1,400 savings over the previous quote.
And
Are available?
they're available, unlike most contractors right now, so I want to make sure we get that money done, the repair done this year, because the encumbrance will zero out if we don't spend it, so.
$1,400 savings as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can
Okay.
I have a motion?
Motion to approve the new contractor.
Second?
I second.
For the record, it's Pro Partners Home Improvement Services. All in favor?
Aye.
Hey. Awesome. The fun stuff, guys.
Okay, thank you for that, I'll let the contractor know. He said he could start on it within 3 or 4 weeks. We have some manifests for approval. Not that one.
And we're signing.
This one here.
I have the library one down here if you want.
Okay.
Good night, Dennis.
Okay, before I make a motion on this one, why is it dropped down a couple $1,000?
I pulled an invoice.
Okay.
Yeah. So the way this works is Liz will write up the manifest, submit it to me, I'll go through it. I had a question on an invoice from Cintas. There was a fire extinguisher, they were charging the town $1,000 for a 15-pound extinguisher, so.
I had a question on that one too.
I decided to pull that invoice and question it before presenting it to the board, so that's why you see a difference.
Okay. I move we approve the amount of $399,971.92. Yeah, on the attached manifest of unpaid bills detailed as of August 8th, 2019. This manifest includes the Greenland School District payment of $285,000.
Second.
Okay, there is an invoice for a contractor for the cemetery. The invoices have been missing dates of service, and have not been approved by the cemetery trustees to pay. So they need to kind of straighten that out too, because we make the rec committee do it. The cemetery has to do the same thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I don't, we didn't pull that bill out of that. We didn't see a need for that. We want some warning that they have to get that straightened around. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we got one more. We got paid people. We're gonna get out of it.
This is the payroll manifest, 2019 payroll number 16. I make a motion that we approve the attached payroll number 16, paid August 8, 2019, for the period of July 22nd, 2019 through and including August 4th, 2019, and a gross amount excluding payroll liabilities at the amount of $53,871.16.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody got anything else?
I got the library one.
Oh, you got the library one.
That's right. Library, Capital Fund Library, hereby approve the attached manifest of unpaid bills, the detail of August 8, 2019, in the amount of $1,613.68. Manifest includes LaValle Berensinger Architects for the Weeks Library.
I have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anybody got anything else? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourning.
I'm gonna turn off the cameras, just watch for the red lights.
Yes, no streaking.